Hi and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. Now this is going to be part 2 of making a Winter Stars quilt from Missouri Star Quilt Company. And I'm just following along with their video tutorial. I am making some different changes and doing things just a little bit different in places. So last time I'd cut out everything, I had pinned it and sewed it for the first step, so I'm back to start pressing. So I'm going to press all of these to the side because I'm working on this square block right here. So I'm going to press, then trim the X sides, and then add the other 2 squares on each side to make the center block. Just pressing them all. And I will press all of them before I start adding the other 2 squares. Now I do like to keep these chained together because I chain piece them and they're still together. I will cut them apart once I start adding the squares, but that won't be until after I press all. So let's keep going. So I have all of those pressed, so I'm going to start cutting those off and cutting off these little corners here. Now I know some people like to use a rotary cutter, and you can, but me, I don't know. I just like to take my scissors and do it. And then I'm going to pin the other 2 squares, one there, one there, and then turn them upside down, ready to go. So I'm going to make a whole stack and do this. Okay, so I have all of my center square here pinned together, set aside. So now I'm just going to start pressing all these strip sets. Just going to press them over to the dark side. I'll set my seams first and then flip them over. And then after I press all these, I'm going to start cutting them to make those 4-patch units in the corner. Okay, so I have all of those pressed open. Well, they're pressed to one side, but they're pressed. I'm just pairing up these strips. Just going to use a wide variety here and making sure these strips are just different fabrics. And then I'm kind of nesting the seams up right here. And I'll line them up, and then I'm going to take my stripology ruler and cut them apart. Just making sure they're all lined up good. here. Alright, so then I have these all together, which then I can just sew for my 4 patches. So I'm going to set these aside and cut the rest, and then after I get them all cut, I'll pin them and put them in my pile to go to the sewing machine. Okay, so I got all of these cut, so I'm just going to pin them together and put them in my pile to go to the sewing machine. And these are still these 4 patch units that are in the corner. So I'm all done pressing those 4 patches. Gonna put those on top for my sewing stack when I go over there to the sewing machine. Now we're gonna work some more on these star legs. Let me turn this around here. So I'm gonna do some more pressing. So I'm just going to take all these star legs and press them over. And after we get through that, we'll add the other side. Okay, so I have all those pressed. So we're going to start adding this other leg to this block right here. So I'm just overlapping that a little bit. I'm just going to put a couple pins in. Alright, and that's ready to sew down. So I'm going to do that to the rest of all these. And then we get to go to the sewing machine. So I have my one stack of fabric that needs sewn and my other stack of fabric that needs sewn. So we're at the sewing machine and just kind of gonna do some chain stitching. And we're gonna get started with that center block. Now on these blocks, I do not draw lines. I just use my diagonal seam tape and sew down. So I'm going to do that for all of this. Just lining that up and sewing down. So I've sewn all those center blocks. Now we're just going to start with these 4 patch, just sewing them down. So I finished sewing all my 4 patches. Now I'm just sewing this. Now this doesn't have to be real accurate because you're just going to flip it over. So I'm just kind of lining this up with my presser foot and going down. So I'm going to... Alright, I'm just going to do that with my whole stack over here. Okay, I'm down to just a few more blocks to go. And the last block. Okay, I'm just going to take all the pins and stack them up. Take all the pins out. And then we're going to head back over to the iron to do some more pressing. So I'm back over here at my pressing station, so I'm going to start pressing all these and cutting them open, and then center block will be done. So now I'm just going to cut off all of these pieces. I just use scissors. Just cutting off all these little pieces, setting them aside. And then after I get my stack all done, that means that center piece is all completed. 4 patches pressed. Now I'm going to start laying them out in piles. And remember from my first video, the 4 patches, this is the A block, and then the B block is turned. So I'm going to lay down all 4, and then on this next one, I'm going to turn it, and so forth, to make some piles. So, I'm going to make some piles here. These are going to turn in. Let's see if I can turn it more. Get it better into view. Here we go. So then my next set of 4, the 4 patches are going to be turned this way. Alright, so I'm going to continue to make my piles and do this until it's all done. So my 4 patches are done and put in groups, and now I'm going to press my star legs. Just going to press them open over like that, all the way down. So I got all of those blocks pressed. Now I'm just going to start trimming these. I'm just using this square as the outline, and I'm just going to cut off all the excess to make it back to that square that we started off with. Trim off the sides. Okay, now I'm going to start making piles of these for the different backgrounds, and then once those are done, I have to snowball these corners with these. However, just to make sure I have the right color, because all of the snowball will be on the same color, I'm just going to make piles to make sure they're all together. So, I've got a lot of trimming to do. Okay, I got all of those blocks together, got them in group of 4 by the color. Now, with this block, when I made these, I got these pretty center, but the point was pretty close. So when I sew blocks together like that, the point's going to be cut off. So I tried to make these go down a little better, and I did, but they're kind of slanted towards the one side. But hopefully, once it's all in the block, because they're all going that way, it'll be good. We'll see. Now, in Missouri Star's video, they just had us leave, or Jenny had left the back of this fabric on. But when you do that, that fabric shows right through. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of that off. Before I start adding these to the bottom of the corners. Okay, so I am cutting off this excess piece right on here just so it doesn't show up behind that fabric in my quilt. And then I'm going to put a square onto each. And then we're going to sew diagonally and do a stitch and flip. And then after you do that, we're going to do that to the other side. The stitch and flip. Then we'll... Now I'm just making sure the fabric here and the fabric here are different. That's why I've got all this spread out. Now I need to make the exact same thing 4 times for the 4 star legs in the block. So after I do this, I'm doing 4 of those, and then I take 4 of the same fabric, and I've got my pile going here. So when I come back to do that second stitch and flip, I've already got everything organized and in order. So I'm going to finish doing all of that, and then I'm going to call it a day. So until next time, bye.